What's up, everyone? Welcome in. There's the man of the hour. This is not my backyard. This is a green screen of it just like popped up as a potential background, but it's my club I'm a member of up in Truckee, one of my favorite golf holes in the world. So that's what that is. But let's see. Dodge, what's up, bro?
What up? What up?
How
Can
we
you hear me
doing?
all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear the man of the hour?
Yeah, let me make sure
Yup,
everyone can hear me.
I think so.
Sweet, sweet.
We're here a few minutes early. We'll let a few people roll in. Man, you're looking fresh. That's a working man's outfit right there, bro.
Yes, sir. As you can see, I got all my equipment, working truck.
God, just such a young hustler, dude. I love it.
Trying to be.
So good. How's the weather out there? Is it hot right now?
It's like 80s, high 80s today. It's pretty nice. I'm at
Yeah.
I'm at the country club I'm a member at right now. That's where we're eating at. So
Heck yeah, dude. That's awesome. Okay, so tell me your like life updates. I know as people are rolling in, you've got some big like life changing stuff coming up here pretty soon, right?
yeah, I just recently got engaged last
Congrats, bro.
October.
Congrats.
Thanks. So I'm getting married July 5th of 2026 in Puerto Rico. So I got
Fantastic.
that to look forward to. Um, and then I am planning on in the next couple years moving out to Puerto Rico here whenever my fiance finishes up nursing school. She's in nursing school right now to become a nurse injector and all that good stuff. So plan is to move out to Puerto Rico just because, they got the beautiful Act 60, claim 0% on my capital gains.
0%. 0%.
Yep.
I know. It's it's funny. If I didn't have like kids in school and like a few different things hold me back, dude. Dubai, Puerto Rico, some of these spots,
Yep.
it's like that's honestly the move. So I
Yep.
that's exciting, bro. Good for you. That's really cool. That's really
Yep.
really cool.
So I got
Well,
that.
yeah, so you've got that going on. What else? What else you got on the horizon?
And then I had last year I started a window washing company, a door-to-door window washing company. And it was pretty bumpy in the beginning. In and out of partnerships and things like that. But finally got a handle on that, and I'm working on getting that more towards autopilot and running on its own. But that's been great. But that's been taking up a lot of my time, which I don't necessarily love because I want
Yeah.
to put that time more towards trading. So I'm trying to really work on getting it more hands off. So I got that too.
Well, you're doing a pretty incredible job, and as we're just now at 7:01, we're gonna go ahead and kind of transition into this, guys. So everyone on here is a member of the Uncommon Education community, which is awesome. We're going to share the recording to social media, but we wanted this just for our members, be able to ask you questions, kind of hear your story. Everyone, he is taking time out of his evening away from his lovely fiance, so we're going to be a hard stop at 7:30 Mountain Standard Time. So that's 29 minutes. We're going to get a little backstory. I'm going to ask him questions for about 15 or so minutes, and then we'll turn it over to everyone for 15 minutes to ask some questions, and I'll go ahead and field those for you, Dodge. But why don't we just go ahead and start at the beginning, bro? So tell us who you are, your background, how you heard about Uncommon, how you got started, and yeah, let's kind of go to there. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so a little bit about me. My name's Dodge Hatch. Born and raised in a small town of Arizona called Sholo. Don't know if any of you know where that is. It's about 3 hours north of Phoenix metropolitan area up in the mountains. I have a ski resort where I live, so we do experience all four seasons. Not many people know that about Arizona. Um, I started my trading journey about almost 3 years ago. I started out in equity with a couple of buddies, couple of good buddies I met out in door-to-door sales. Um, and one of my buddies, his dad was a trader, and he traded equity, and he ended up being a whale So he had a lot of money to play with in the market. And for those of you that don't know, in equity, you kind of need a lot of money to play in that kind of game. So on average, we were playing with 30 grand per position size to look for a couple, like a $1 move on the stock to make 100 to 150 bucks. So really the risk to reward was not the same as what you get in options. And so I started dabbling in the market there and kind of just learning little tidbits, kind of just overall information about the stock market, kind of like what candles are, things like that. And that was great. And the trade off was they got to stay with me in Arizona for free. And I had a detailing business at the time, so we all did that together. Um, and then we all kind of went our separate ways. Two of us stuck together. We moved up to Utah from Arizona. And then my buddy was kind of looking into options, and he found Jeremy, Uncommon Education. And of course, us being young, fresh out of sales kids, we were trying to make quick money. But on social media, you see all these traders, flexing the Rolexes, flexing the Lambos, things like that. And so there are a lot of guys that are good at selling courses and not necessarily have a good strategy that they actually teach. So you have to watch out for that. So I was very hesitant in the beginning, and plus I wasn't in a position in my life where I could go throw a bunch of money into something and have it not work out in my favor. And so it kind of wasn't something an endeavor that I wanted to embark on. So my buddy, he was sitting in a better position than I was at the time, and so he's like, you know what, I'm gonna do this course with Uncommon. I'm gonna see how it goes, and if it goes great, dude, like, you should do it. So he takes the course. I believe it was the September Mastermind of 2024, I believe, or maybe even earlier. Not too sure, but I did the February Mastermind, the one after that, because after my buddy took it, within 2 weeks after taking the Mastermind, he was profitable and raking in good money. So I was like, you know what, dude, like, I gotta do this. I gotta hop on this before it's too late. So I then, contacted Jeremy, reached out, and got into the UET fam. And ever since then, like, night and day difference, 100%. Like, I I do remember vividly from the very beginning of starting, I was profitable even while learning the course. And that could have been because I had someone who already took the course prior, and they were kind of, it was a crutch to lean on per se. But within the first 2 weeks of taking the course, I was already making more money than what you would make in a normal 9 to 5. And so to me, that was kind of like eye opening. It was like, holy cow, like, this is legit. So I stuck with it. Um, and I've been doing it now for a year and a half, options trading, and I love everything about it. It's been absolutely phenomenal. Um, so yeah, I think that answers most of those
It
questions.
does. There's a lot to go off of there, and I'm sure a lot of people are wondering. So first off, let's just talk. So you're 21 years old, correct?
Yeah, I just turned 22 on the 16th, so just a couple days ago.
Happy birthday, bro. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what's crazy, guys, is I'm sure all of you are thinking the same thing. Like, wow, what he's been able to accomplish at such a young age, pretty incredible. Before we get into any of the trading pieces, super brief, like, dude, what's your driving motivation, right? You're grinding, dude. You're working, starting businesses, and to me, it's willingness to take risk, belief in yourself, like that's really what it comes down to. Is you're not afraid to fail. You're just, you're doing it. So what would you attribute that to? Do you feel like it was how you were raised? Do you feel like it's just like naturally been the case? Are you someone who reads motivational books? Like, just tell everyone here, like, where that drive and motivation comes from.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite things to talk about. This is where I'm really passionate about this subject. So it's my why, and my why is pretty big for me personally. Um, so this might be different than some stories or most common stories that people hear, but starting be I was raised in a wealthy family. My dad owned multiple car dealerships across states. Um, so my family was very successful in the business industry. I came from a very strong sales family. Every one of my uncles owns car dealerships. They all come from sales. And so, with that being said, most people who come from money, there's two sides of it. There's people who come from money and they do get pampered in a sense. They get a lot of things handed to them in a sense, but not the case with me. Just due to the fact of how my father was raised, he was a straight bred through cowboy. Grew up riding bulls. Grew up on a ranch. So he's a tough man. He doesn't take any bull crap, and so he was raised with there's no handouts in life. You don't get handouts. That's not how life works. And so anything that you want, you need to make it for yourself. Anything he has, he built it on his own, and he's not going to give it to me just because I'm his son for whatever reason. So my dad has always been really hard on me, and so I think that's driven me super hard to want to be successful, because my biggest goal is I've always had a saying. It's on I don't have a vision board. I have what's called a mission wall. So I have a whole wall in my room that's completely like painted. It's like I do whatever I want to that wall. And in the center it says 10x G money, which G Money is like the nickname for my dad. That's what everyone calls my dad. He's got a gold tooth that says G Money. That's just him. And so my goal has always been to 10x my dad, and not in like a cocky or arrogant or I'm trying to showboat or anything like that, but I just it's just been a goal of mine to do what my dad has done and do it better. And another thing about kind of what you said about taking risk is, so I have tattoos on my body, and on one of my tattoos that is one of my more recent ones, and I live by this quote, is no risk, no story. And I've told myself that day in and day out. So if you never take a risk in life, you're never going to have a story to tell. Like I am right now, I'm telling a story. I would never be telling this story if I never took that risk of taking that course and investing the time and money into this subject that I was passionate about. If I never took that risk, this outcome would have never potentially happened. So that's a big thing that resonates with me, is no risk, no story. And so a lot of it really stems from the motivation stems from my dad. I've always wanted to just not one up him, but be just as successful as him, and kind of prove my worth to him, because he's a tough cracker. He doesn't give any emotions. He doesn't it's a tough love. It's not a hey, you're doing good kind of deal. It's like you can be doing better. So he's always pushing me, and so I think that's what's driven me the most. And I do read a lot of motivational books. The only books I do read, I hate reading, but the only books I do read are motivational books. And the only other educational book that I have read is Trading in the Zone. That's just because it's probably the best psychology book out there for trading, in my opinion, by far, hands down. Listen to that book probably 1,000 times on Audible, and I will continue to listen to that till I'm too old to even hear, till I got hearing aids. So
Well, guys, like, wow, who here is just like motivated, right? Listening to that, being like, holy smokes, like, what am I doing, you know? And I love, I mean, day one of meeting Dodge guys, like mindset, right? Mindset is just it's impenetrable, right? And that's why, you know, he's coming in the mastermind profiting in 2 weeks, because your mentals, and we all know that's the hardest part of trading, right? Is the mental side. And I echo what you say, dude. Trading in the Zone is the only book I've ever recommended to traders. You know, they're like, what other books? I'm like, you don't need any other books. That's the one. Like
yep.
that's it. You don't need anything else. Okay, so there's so much in there, guys. Again, if you listen to all that, just incredible. And I just want to touch on the fact that the risk aspect of trading, where he is so confident in himself, in his skill set, in just his ability to win, you know, that also comes with trust, right? Is he's trusting that the program is going to work. He's trusting that the strategies are going to do what they're going to do. He's trusting the process of it all. So let's kind of dive into, because I could talk about that one forever. So cool to hear, Dodge. Seriously, you're the man. Let's talk about just some numbers. So you took the September Master, and I think it was 2023 that your buddy took. and then you were the February 2024. So walk us through, just these can be super just kind of direct answers. So how much did you start trading with when you were going through the mastermind? Like when you were taking your first, month of trades, like what was your position size?
I started with 2,000.
Okay, so your 2000 account, kind of like what we recommend. Yeah, so pretty
Yep.
small. Okay,
Yep.
so since then, guys, we're coming up year and a half, year and a couple months here. His account has grown, and he's trading with a larger size. So tell us kind of the process of that growth, and what you're trading with now as far as account size, position size, and kind of walk us through that process, whether it was easy, hard, whether it took trial and error, kind of scaling back. Just walk us through maybe a minute or two of what that was like.
Yeah. So it did take trial and error. At first, I took that 2K originally, took it to 15K, and then after that, I that's when I started in my window washing. So I kind of didn't take a step back, but I kind of withdrew a little bit in trading, and so I was a little more hands off, trading less, and so I wasn't trading as much, and so I got a little not rusty, but I got a little dull, and so when I increased my position size because I had some funds from window washing, I added into my investment account and I started trading with a higher position size. I took a couple hits right in the beginning just because the fear, the emotional side, the psychological, I wasn't mentally prepared for trading with that kind of money. Because what happened is when I first initially put in with a higher position size and it ticked down on right off the bat, and it was an amount of money that moved that I hadn't seen before, kind of like made my heart spike. And I was like, I don't like this. And then the emotions started to affect me. And that's when it just kind of went to a mess and took the account back down to 10K, and then I built that slowly back up to about 50K. And when I was around 50K, that's when I was I sat around 50K with my account for probably a good month. Just wasn't really going anywhere. And that's whenever I changed things in my life. Not necessarily my trading strategy. There was nothing wrong with the strategy. The strategy works. We all know that. The strategy works. It's been proven. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. There's no point in doing that. So I went back and kind of dissected things in my life and found that there was little aspects in my life like being disciplined and going to the gym. I was lacking discipline in my trading because I was lacking discipline in my own life. So I started going to the gym and have a set time. If I have a set time to wake up, I wake up at that time no matter what, if then buts, because that creates discipline. And that discipline directly correlates into my trading. And so once I started implementing and changing little things in my daily life, that's whenever my trading really started to take off. And I went from a 50K account to a 100K account in about a month and a half. And then from there, from the 100K, I treated it just like a $10,000 account, risk 10%, looking for a 20 to 40% return. And that's still how I treat my account today. Today we're sitting at 237,000 on the account as of today, and I treat it just as if it was a 10,000. My position size right now is around 20K, so I risk about 10% of the account, and then I'm looking for a 20 to 40% move. So on average, on a good or bad day, whatever the market gives me, looking for 2 to 5K on average per day return.
Well, guys, you know what's the funniest thing is, again, we're just talking about these numbers. Like, there's so many times I want to stop you, like, okay, dude, let's just talk briefly, and we're gonna give time for some Q&A here. So if you guys have questions, type them into the chat now, because again, he only has another 13 or so minutes. So if you have questions, type them in. But dude, 2,000 to 15,000, that's probably the craziest thing you did. Because when you
Oh,
start trading with size, right? Like the 100 to 200 jump, that's so crazy. But honestly, what's crazier is the 2 to 15, because when you're trading that small, you have to be so disciplined, right? And you have to be so good. So let's give me two things that you attribute super quick of why, like, growing that first small account to 15K, like the two biggest things that helped you do that.
um, well, the biggest thing. I think everyone knows this, is staying disciplined in the strategy. Um, so having good risk management was probably my number one rule. If I wasn't keeping good risk management, especially with such a small account like that.
Mhm.
If you don't have good R to R, your losers are going to wipe out your account. And it's going to take so much more to get it, that loss back, just because you're at such a small account. You're really going to have to risk so much more to get that loss back. So really keeping your R to R really tight, like having my R to R was dead set at a 1 to 3. And so keeping my losses small was key. And then not only that, was I didn't take any first candles whenever I had that smaller account, just due to the fact of I only wanted A plus setups that I truly knew, yes, this is dead set. All the indicators are there. It's telling me every truth that I want. I love this A plus. Like, I know this is a textbook RBR. Anyone would look at this and take this RBR. So I did that, and so I kind of took out and implemented. So I would say patience and risk
Yeah.
management, two biggest things: having patience and
So
risk management.
awesome. And guys, you know, to recap here, to do what he's done in the amount of time he's done it, very, very difficult, right? Very, very difficult to do. And I think what's so cool is, again, he's 22 years old, right? Just turned 22. So few things to kind of hit on here before we turn over for Q&As for about 10 minutes here is notice how everything he's saying, and you know what's so funny, Dodge, is that every single one of these that we do with members, it's hilarious, but every single one of them just kind of regurgitates the information that we teach at Uncommon as far as what they attribute their success to. It's hilarious. It's like, yeah, you know, I like I risk 10% per trade and I'm looking for a 20 to 30% return, looking for 2 to 4% account growth per day. Or, yep, I play the rally-based rally or the orb or the, you know, the bounce reject 15 minutes after. And it's just like, it's so funny to me. It's always the same answers. There's no like, oh yeah, you went on YouTube and you found some magic trading view indicator, right? It's like, no,
Yeah,
dude.
no.
This is a kid who is grinding his ass off, is working so hard, is putting in the time and getting the results from it. And something I wanted to touch on with everyone listening to this man could teach the strategies as well as me. I know I don't even need to ask him. He could go through the exact checklist of each strategy because just the way he talks about it, you can tell, right? And so I think that one thing to take on top of just his motivation, you know, the kind of will to win, how he treats this job, this skill set with such like respect, is understanding that, again, none of that is possible without him having like the self-belief and confidence that he can do it, right? So he's taking the time to learn, he's doing everything he can, but then he's trusting and willing to risk, right? There's risk. Like, yeah, when you're throwing 50K account position size, 5K, 10K, you get up to 20, 25K position size. Like, yeah, that's risk. But again, he has built himself up to that point through discipline. Okay, well, dude, you're awesome. We could see you for hours, but again, I know you got dinner here in 9 minutes. So let's go through a few questions here. And again, just think, Dodge, like the quickest way to respond, or the shortest way so we can get through them all. So do you focus on just one strategy or a mix of them all?
I use a mix of them all. There are a few that I personally like more than others. Those ones would be the RBR. I love the rally based rally. And recently, I know Jeremy in the live tradings, because I've been watching every single one, which everyone, if you guys haven't been in those are killer. Those live trading sessions are insane. So in those, I love taking the 15-minute orb and the 30-minute orb. I chart those up every single day, no matter what. And so many of my recent trades these past couple months have been off of those orb strategies. So absolutely love those.
Awesome. So orb, guys, opening range breakout, marking the high and low of the first 15 minutes, the high and low of the first 30 minutes, waiting for a break, right? And obviously a retest of some sort. So very cool. And again, nothing new here. Same old, same old. Little plug, guys. About three to 4 weeks from now, all new course content will be uploaded with first candle strategy, a new strategy, our 9 EMA crossover strategy, and then the orb. And we're also going to teach these live in the July Mastermind coming up. So just stay tuned for that, but some really cool stuff there. Next question. Do you trade on Thinkorswim? And are you more scalping? Well, scalping, yes, because he's taking profit in that 20-40% round. That's essentially what scalping is. And then do you have any profit in that account from holding assets, or is that just day trading growth?
So that is day trading growth on top of a little bit of it is from my window cleaning job. I throw some of that money into my investments just because I'd rather use that to work for me instead of it just sitting in my savings, not doing anything. So,
Smart man. Yeah, we talk about that. One of my favorite things to do, guys, is my favorite companies. Like if I buy a burrito from Chipotle, like put some money in Chipotle stock, right? You buy something from Nike, throw some money in Nike stock. You buy a new iPhone, throw some money in Apple. It's
yep.
a great way to do it. And again, just showing the diversification, which is awesome. Very briefly, what does your normal day trading day look like? Like time from maybe prep for the market to when you close?
So I have my days dissected down to the minutes. So I wake up at 3:30 a.m. every day. I start my day with morning meditation and breath work, and then I go straight to the gym and do outside grounding and stretching. Then I do my 45-minute workout, come back, get cleaned up, ready, and then I'm usually pre-market analysis at around 5. I'm at least in my chair looking at the chart, starting to just kind of wake up, drink my coffee, journal, look at past days, write down my daily affirmations, my wins, things I'm looking forward to, what I need to get done during the day, do my morning journal. And then I do some more Wim Hof breathing right before market opens just to, get the nerves tempered before market. And then obviously I chart up the potential plays and then any plays that I'm looking for or interested in. And then market opens, I wait, look for an entry, wait for a good entry. And then usually I don't make more than 3 trades max in a day, no matter what happens, no more than 3 trades a day. So I try to do one and done. That's like my biggest thing is I just try to one and done. Um, and then I try to be done typically around market opens here at 6:30 a.m. I try to be done around 8. And then from there, I either go do window jobs if I have some, or if not, I'll take the day and I'll go golf or go hang out with my fiance. And that's pretty much the day for me.
Insane, dude. Oh, I love it. Everyone listening to this call right now is like, wow, I'm a bum. Like they're thinking like market opens at 7:30, bro. And they're like tonight, they're like, yeah, I'm gonna set my alarm for 6:55. I'm gonna be in my chair by 7. Meanwhile, Dodge has run a
Yep.
marathon, eaten 3 breakfasts, and done some Wim Hof breathing before any of us are even awake. It's incredible. But again, guys, it's like there's no secret here. Like, again, you want to know why he's successful? Again, it's not a secret. So very, very cool, dude. Love that morning routine, bro. Good for you. Okay, a few more questions here. Let's see. I don't know what that question means. Maybe this question is, so with the account that you're growing, do you have any like short-term, long-term plans with the money that you've grown in your trading account? Super quickly.
Yeah, so I don't have any short-term plans with it. I plan on leaving it. I do plan on giving myself a payout just to kind of help with the mental part of it. It's always
Gotta
good to
reward yourself, bro. You
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
reward yourself.
it's always good to reward yourself. So I'm thinking about doing that in the short term, going and buying something nice for myself. But other than that, long term is to just hold it. I have a goal for a down payment in a place down in Puerto Rico, and so I'm saving up to build the account for that, and so that way whenever I get down there, um, can take it out and
Got a
move it over.
house,
And
got a full trading account. Yep.
yep.
Love
So
it, man.
that's the long term plan.
Good for you, dude. Okay, a few more questions here, and we got that. Favorite stocks to trade?
Favorite stocks, probably top 10 for sure, but I really do love SPY. That is always one I tend to draw always too. Every
Zero
day
DTE, dude.
yeah,
It's tough to get
I
away from
love those
that.
zero DTE QQQ too. But other than that, I love AMD, the sister stock of Nvidia. I love that. That's a great one. Tesla, personally, I hate Tesla. It's taken a lot of my money. It's hurt my feelings. I'm not friends with Elon right now, but that's just me. You know,
He-
Elon and me, we don't get along. So,
Hey,
so
he's
I,
not for everyone. He's
I
an
put my
acquired
hand up
taste.
with
I
Tesla.
agree.
Yeah. Yeah, Elon is just he doesn't like me, dude. So, you know, that's the one I don't really love, but other than that and like Nvidia, Tesla, AMD, Meta, QQQ, all those I
Cool.
trade all the top 10 mostly.
Awesome. Again, guys, I wish there was something new for you guys to hear. Some secret stock that none of us know about, some secret strategy we don't teach, but the dude is just a machine. He is just a machine. Well, guys, I'm going to turn it over for the last minute here from Dodge. So Dodge, I know for you, you've found pretty immediate success with it, but again, I don't attribute that to anything other than you were prepared to have success, right? It's kind of like you can be a great baseball player, but if you get called up to the major leagues and you're not like in prime form, you could blow your opportunity. Well, the discipline in his life, guys, who he is as a human being day in, day out, he was ready for this opportunity when he took it, right? And so he was given a almost a system to succeed, with all the the good things he already had going on in his life. So your 60-second word of advice, okay? Because the reality is, dude, is you've done what a lot of people haven't done, what a lot of people are striving to do, right, in the trading space. So it doesn't need to be anything crazy. It could be something simple, but like again, last minute here before we let you go, what would your piece of advice be to people who are striving for that level of success, that level of discipline, wanting to kind of get over the hump of where they're at right now? What would your advice be?
My advice would be, and I know for a fact all of you have heard this from Jeremy, and this has been preached from since day one, at least for me. And so all of this stuff is probably going to be stuff you've already heard. But if there's any advice, like if I could go back and go to my day one self from when I first started and give myself any advice to maybe help the path be smoother in any way, it would be to follow the strategy 100% through and through. Don't waver from it. Don't try to change it. Don't it's goes to the concept of don't reinvent the wheel. There's no reason to. You have something that works. There's no reason to change it because once you start changing things, things start changing on their own and then it's not the same. And you could get a completely different outcome. Could be good, could be bad, but in trading most of the time it's bad. And so sticking to the strategy 100% through and through and having full blown trust and fully accepting the risk that you take in trading that losses are part of the game. Like I don't win every single day. I would love to win every single day, but I don't. Even though it just doesn't happen, you know. Show me one trader that's 100% profitable. I doubt you can show me a single trader that is actually 100% profitable. So, it's having good R to R and risk management and having those set boundaries for yourself, and really it comes back down to sticking to your strategy, and if you follow that, there's the only other thing that is going to stop you is once you have the strategy mastered, it's 100% mental. And that was the hardest thing for me, was the mental part of it. But the biggest thing for me that changed everything and kind of flipped my trading in a full 180 was finding the things in my life that were affecting my trading directly. So, like I said earlier, if you are lacking discipline, you can't follow your strategy. You keep holding your losses, or you keep entering when you're not supposed to, or you have FOMO, so you're entering a trade. You're lacking discipline. Now, you can tell yourself the next day, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do this or XYZ, but you know, the odds are you probably are going to do it because your emotions get the best of you, and it's proven time and time again. So you need to go change something in your life to create that discipline. And so for me, that was the gym. Going into the gym every single day, no matter what, whether I felt tired, I felt groggy, I went to the gym because that created discipline in my life, which directly reflected into my trading. And so once I found things that were wrong in my trading, I kind of looked at it as it's not the strategy. We all know the strategy works. So now we need to look at the deeper picture of why is that not working? Okay, well maybe I'm lacking here, or my mental clarity's off. So maybe I need to get better sleep. Maybe I'm going to bed way too late because I'm staying up watching new seasons of whatever show's coming out. So it's things like that. And if that would be my best advice, is really just finding the things in your life that are lacking in your trading, and working on those, and that'll directly reflect into your trading. I promise that. And then sticking to the strategy 100% because it works. And 100, like Jeremy's tested it. He went through the hardship of losing thousands of dollars testing these strategies. So take it from him, and he has everything. He's the proof's in the pudding, and Jeremy's pudding's pretty good. So, I mean, with that's all I would say, is stick to the strategy, and be confident in yourself, and that's really it, and stick with
Amazing.
it. Don't give up.
Dude, absolutely amazing. Guys, let's give it up. Let's give it up for Dodge. Holy smokes. You guys are going to be seeing a lot more of him. We're trying to get Dodge more involved in the uncommon community. Would you guys like that? Would you like to see more of Dodge in the community? I think everyone, I mean, dude, the chat's blowing up right now. Everyone's saying thank you. Very, impressed with your success. Everyone would everyone would love to see more of you, as would I. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, let's give again Dodge a huge thanks. Appreciate you taking time out of your evening, dude. I know you're a busy guy. By the way, what time do you go to sleep? What's your bedtime?
I typically go. I'm usually in bed no later than 8:30.
Guy is a dog. He's not out partying. He's 22, making absolute racks, about to go live his dream life in Puerto Rico with his fiance. Dodge, have an incredible night, my friend. Enjoy dinner. Thanks for being here. We'll be
Thank
in
you.
touch. Thanks for being here, guys. You guys are awesome.